and he takes those elements and he remixes them to fit his goal of creating a family-friendly cartoon. Hey everybody, my name is Nick, director living in Taiwan. For fans of Japanese animator Hayao Miyazaki, or for those who are interested in anime and visiting Taiwan, you probably heard the factoid that the town of Jiufen was the inspiration for the setting in the film Spirited Away. I've covered on this channel before that this is actually a made-up fact and probably propagated for tourism reasons. There is, however, a real connection between director Miyazaki and Taiwan. The Hou Xiaoxian film Summer at Grandpa's is purported to be the inspiration for the film My Neighbor Totoro. So this is a fact that's cited on the IMDb Gazette, so it may also be made up, but a deep dive into both of these films reveals that there actually may be more to this, which is why I wanted to make a video about it. So the plot of Summer at Grandpa's mirrors My Neighbor Totoro in a lot of ways. It starts with the mother in the hospital, and the two children are sent to spend summer at their grandparents in a rural part of Taiwan. And if you remember My Neighbor Totoro, it starts with a family moving to a rural part of Japan because their mother is sick. Beyond that, both of these films are, in a way, relatively plotless. Summer at Grandpa's definitely more so than My Neighbor Totoro. Thematically, both films also revolve around last days of innocence in children who are growing up and starting to understand tragedy that's present in the adult world. So we have some pretty strong connections right off the bat. Aesthetically is really where things start to connect. The two films retain really strong links in this area. We can see that more likely than not, the setting and costume choices made by the animators in My Neighbor Totoro were inspired by Summer at Grandpa's. Now, as popular as My Neighbor Totoro is, you've probably heard of it. So I want to shine a little bit of light on the Hou Xiaoxian film, Summer at Grandpa's, because I think a lot of people haven't really heard of this movie or seen it. I hadn't. It's obvious why the popularity of My Neighbor Totoro never translated back to the inspiration, Summer at Grandpa's. You know, one is a cartoon for children that's very accessible, and the other is this art film that is, you know, for a festival crowd. It's a movie that many adults might even struggle to sit through. It's very, very, very slow paced. However, there is a genius that is present in Summer at Grandpa's that film buffs who enjoy this channel should probably look into, and I think you would really appreciate. Something I always say is that Hou Xiaoxian is a genius when it comes to filming perspective. His films adhere to this kind of first-person type of perspective, and the techniques and the plot usually conform to this self-imposed limitation of the film being in a particular perspective. In Summer at Grandpa's, the perspective is that of the children on vacation. And so we're not given much explanation about what is going on in this film. Events in the adult world are observed, but not explained. So the illness of the mother, for example, we don't know why she's sick. There's a robbery that's given no context. We, the audience, are the children who must try to untangle what exactly is happening. And we must try to understand the events as we see them, not as they are explained to us. It's a brilliant way to capture an intense feeling of nostalgia without having to explain too much or having to show too much. And it's very high-level filmmaking in that it induces this feeling simply through the choices that the director has made. This feeling and this idea of the childhood perspective is also something that I think Miyazaki copied in My Neighbor Totoro. The way that the magical creatures in My Neighbor Totoro appear put the viewer into the mindset of a child viewing the world from their perspective. This is something that is exactly the same as the way that Hou Xiaoxian makes Summer at Grandpa's. So from the perspective of children in My Neighbor Totoro, magic exists and dust bunnies are really alive and all these kind of weird things are happening, and we as the viewer see the world in this way. I think this is the true genius on the part of Miyazaki from the way he emulated Summer at Grandpa's, because he understands what makes Summer at Grandpa's great. And he takes those elements and he remixes them to fit his goal of creating a family-friendly cartoon. He takes something that is for the art crowd and he makes it into something that is for children to enjoy, that is also with some very strong artistic merit. I think this practice of borrowing or inspiration is something that we as artists can learn from when we view content. We can think about the elements that we like and see how we can make them our own to meet our very specific artistic goals. So make sure you check out Summer at Grandpa's. If you want me to talk about any specific films, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.